stuff.
She started, so you don't get to go back.
Shit, okay.
You're on the spot.
That's what you get for putting my fucking blowing my nose in the episode.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
That was nice. I see now. I was like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
thought.
You're like, Anthony, please don't put that in there. My friends watch this. And you're
So,
all, oof.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard. And then when she knocked over the thing.
Yeah.
God.
There's a pain in the ass of blood in that fucking episode.
I was making notes for all of the different like TikTok videos and stuff that I was planning on doing, and
Bananas, strawberries, and a popsicle, and whipped cream. Yeah, Mom was talking to you, bro.
I thought the sounds were supposed to be off.
Sorry, my watch is a whole different story.
But I'm gonna make a compilation of me trying
Also,
to.
by the no,
Just
I'm just kidding.
just have lipstick on your teeth.
Oh my god!
Look at me. You're good.
Ow!
Ow.
I'm gonna make a compilation of me saying the names.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's a genius idea.
Yeah, and
Have you ever watched my face when you're trying to pronounce the names? I was like,
yeah, I was like, oh man, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a compilation of me just trying to do names.
so there's this one girl that I watched on TikTok. She's like, she divorced her husband, and is like now into girls, right?
I like that.
Damn, that fucking hurt your pride.
Okay, you're
Someone leaves you and becomes gay after that. Just be like, yikes.
what did I do?
Well, no, she was like lesbian before she got married, but then she got married for like insurance and stuff. Weird thing.
I get that.
Yeah. So she has like these compilations of her just like eating shit, cause like falling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, this is the internet. You might have to elaborate.
What?
No, like falling because she's so clumsy. Like she has a video of her falling down the stairs.
Oh my god.
Dude, it's so funny. I have to look her up so I can find her. It's just so funny. Like, and her cat's name is Cinderblock.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
She needs another one called Wiley. Like Wiley Coyote. Alright. Okay, you ready? I can't believe you guys are eating.
I'm just gonna be munching through this whole
Oh my god. That's gonna make a lot of noise.
No, it won't.
That is, yeah.
No, it won't.
The tinky is sensitive to mics.
Yeah. Tink.
That's usually why when you hear someone scratching a metal plate with a metal fork on like TikToks and shit.
My intrusive though.
Like, what? Oh. It's like, what?
Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
You doing wiping your ass?
No. Okay, go ahead.
Hey everybody, welcome to Smile Girl Don't Be Nervous. I am Juana, I am the mom.
And I'm Esperanza, I'm the daughter.
And then we have a guest speaker today.
It's the brother.
It's the
It's
Bobber.
your boy.
This is Anthony. Anthony is my son and Mama's brother. And he is the one that edits all of the videos on the back end. So. Oh my god.
And then he'll take a joke.
Don't ever make eye contact with me again.
So you realize this is the camera on the computer, right?
Facts.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
Thanks.
is.
No, it's not.
the one on the...
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's lit up.
That was really hostile. I'm
I
sorry.
think that's going.
Yeah, it's going.
Fuck you.
This is going to be an entertaining episode.
Bro, what's going on with your hair?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I did that dry oil stuff and it...
That spray?
Yeah.
It worked.
I had to put some dry shampoo in it because a little bit goes a long way.
Oh my
It's
god.
like, oh my god. Yeah, so anyways, that's probably what's going on with my hair. So, anyways, I don't want to talk about it. Alrighty. So, holidays that we have coming up. It's not really a holiday, but we have the Wolf Moon, which is the next full moon, coming up on January 25th. Remember to like, hit, share, and hit, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications for when our episodes drop. I am going to keep it real with you. I am not here today. Like, I am dropping everything.
You know just what 3 Anthony said?
Losing everything.
Nailed it.
So, we're just going to go off on that note.
We're all just
kind of a train wreck today, so this is going to be a pretty entertaining episode, to say the least. So, trigger warnings and advisories that we have for this one is we're going to be talking about sexual assault and toxic behaviors.
Yep,
and then, as always, if you need to disclose anything that may be happening, please find a responsible adult in order to make sure that you are safe. So, spoiler alert warning, we are in Untamed. I think this is our second quote out of Untamed? Third? Okay. So we are in Untamed. This is book 4, in the House of Night. And so the quote that we're going to cover says, "Power always changes the bearer of it and those who are closest to her, though people who believe it always corrupts think too simplistically." And I know that sounds really complicated, but what she's basically saying here is that people that think that other people are in power think that it corrupts just them is just thinking on just that simplistic term.
It's got a domino effect.
It does. So the context of this quote is Nyx is still talking to Zoe and Aphrodite. So the first quote that she did is in the last episode. So go back to episode...
Anthony about broke himself.
So go back to episode 18 to see the first part of what she's telling Zoe and Aphrodite.
19. This is 20.
This is... Oh, right. Yep. Okay.
Episode 19.
Yeah. Whatever the last episode was.
19.
She is explaining that Nefret has her mind tuned to another voice that has been whispering to her for a very long time. And spoiler alert, so this leads into Neferet's Curse, the novella, and that tells the backstory of what happened to Nefret, and this girl has had some shit happen. She's had some definite betrayals from various different levels. So she has been listening to another voice that's been whispering to her for a long time. She also says that Aphrodite was right when she says that power changes, but then she says this line. So, what do you think of the quote right off? You said there's a domino effect. What does that mean?
It goes back to that simple thinking. It's not just one thing. There's multiple variables that affect everyone. No matter what decision you make, there's always a cause and effect. That's why they call it a domino effect. That's why when you gain that power, people often get greedy and they want to belittle others, leading to loss of friendships or even relationships, or it could even corrupt one and lose even more than just that. Even objects can become destructive and shit like that.
Right. So you're talking about the person who has the power themselves.
Yes.
That kind of corrupts everything else.
Yes.
Okay.
So I kind of go off of authority.
Authority.
Okay. I automatically go to teachers, how they know they have that power.
Or police officers.
Yeah, or fucking police officers. You can't even see that on camera, dude.
Oh my gosh. He's so tiny. Oh my gosh.
You just did an asshole. Yeah, teachers or police officers know they have that power, so they choose to abuse it. Of taunting or abusing that power of they do a lot of, well, I'm this, so you have to basically bow down.
Okay.
None of us do well with that.
Damn
No.
peasants.
No. Not,
Neither
that
of us.
doesn't
None
roll
of
with
us.
either one of us.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a good thing, and this article will explain why.
Yeah. God, I am so good at just transitioning.
I know, you were like amazing in it. You haven't even read the notes.
Nope, not a fucking clue.
So this article is found in the July 2018 issue of the Frontiers in Psychology, Volume 9, Article 1281. Oh my God. So this article is called "No Regard for Those Who Need It: The Moderating Role of Follower Self-Esteem in the Relationship Between Leader Psychopathy and Leader
Disgusting.
Self-Serving Behavior." Oh my gosh, guys.
Did you I was like, I'm okay. I don't know where your lips have been.
I was like,
She was like, alcohol. I was like, and dick.
Sorry, guys.
Wow.
Welcome to the family.
So this is what happens when we are all together. Okay, so once again, the title of this article is called "No Regard for Those Who Need It: The Moderating Role of Follower Self-Esteem in the Relationship Between Leader Psychopathy and Leader Self-Serving Behavior." This one was written by Dick P.H. Barrels. Oh my God. Do I need to separate you two?
That's all I remember. I'm fucking focused.
Barbara Wise, Stacey Sanders, and L. Maxim Largison?
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my gosh.
Pay attention.
You're right. Where are we at? Oh, right here. I got it.
Yeah.
You walked in there.
I got it.
Reading the names.
Yes,
Reading
I got
the
it.
names.
Okay,
Okay.
so I know that you and I, Anthony, have talked about this dark triad before. And I think it was a conversation between me, you, and Ramon. And we were talking about this dark triad, and it's basically like the dark side of psychology.
Oh,
So
like manipulation and shit
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Okay.
So psychopathy is part of the dark triad, which is a constellation of 3 personality traits. So Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism. Okay.
Wait, so you- like 3 personality traits, like.
So each one of those is a different personality traits. So give me just a second, and I'll explain what each one is, so it all kind of
Okay,
blends together.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. So all 3 refer to short-term, self-serving, exploitive social strategies that are positively associated with disagreeableness and the use of dishonest and manipulative behaviors. Okay?
He's really bad at that.
So that's what they do. We are all really good at this.
Not a good thing.
But it's not a good thing, but it's because of the trauma that we have been exposed to, that we have learned how to do this. And so that's why psychology is such like a fascinating subject for us, because it names everything that we've been doing in order to survive,
Yes.
right?
It's
So
not like, check.
yeah,
Check.
and
Check.
oh yeah, is that what that's called? Like,
There was a name for that?
yeah, and other people do this too. I thought it was just a me thing. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah, so Machiavellianism is marked by emotional coldness, duplicity, and aggressiveness. Okay? Typical Machiavellian behavior and characteristics include the callous manipulation of others for personal gain, the use of other immoral tactics in the pursuit of power for personal gain, the use of immoral tactics in the pursuit of power within an organization or community, inordinate distrust of others, a desire for revenge in response to others' perceived wrongful behavior, and insincere displays of charm and charisma in brief social interactions. They lack effective empathy, but they are capable of high levels of cognitive empathy or the ability to understand another person's mental state. They often use that understanding to manipulate others for their own advantage, and it's not considered a mental disorder in itself like psychopathy and narcissism. Okay?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between effective empathy and cognitive empathy?
Okay, so affective empathy means that they don't necessarily have feelings themselves, right? So they're real cold.
So their own feelings?
Yeah. But they understand how to use and how to identify and use other people's feelings to use that against them.
Like what I do.
Yeah, so you know how he shuts his emotions off? And then he, tells you to, take all the feeling out of it? Because then that puts you in logic.
You know who Anthony reminds me of?
But...
Damon.
Yeah. Yeah. So, then he tells you to use that logic...
Yes!
so that you can take... Because then he uses your feelings against you. Right?
Yeah, I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah. So that's what that's talking about. That cognitive empathy versus the affective empathy.
So the cognitive is the using your feelings against you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because affect means no effect of. Okay?
Affect or effect?
Affect. AFF means no feeling of. Effect means...
Fuck.
Effect is as a result of. Does that make sense?
Yes, and then cognitive is using against.
Yeah, cognitive is using against.
That's a nice handwriting.
Thanks.
Okay, so narcissists, which is the second part.
Yours is so bad. You second grader.
So narcissists, which is the second part of that dark triad, okay, are preoccupied with maintaining excessively positive self-concepts. They become overly concerned with obtaining positive, aggrandizing feedback from others and react with extreme positive or negative emotions when they succeed or fail to receive confirmation that others hold them in high regard. They want positive feedback about themselves, and they actively manipulate others to solicit or coerce admiration from them. Okay? So those are the people that have that kind of grandiose ideas about themselves, right?
I know a few of them.
Everything is everybody else's fault because they don't want people to see them in a dark light.
Right.
Okay? If the truth comes out about what they do to other people,
It's everybody else's fault.
then they start being aggressive toward you because you are making people see them as they don't want to be seen.
Right.
Okay? So those are narcissists.
Oh my god, are you a narcissist?
If you have to question if you're a narcissist, then you're not a narcissist. Because narcissists don't question themselves.
Hey, no,
So it's egotistical.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so then the third part of that...
I thought you were going to be like... If
You're okay. Woo,
No, I thought you were going to
okay.
be like, if you have to question it, then you are. I was like, shit.
Okay, so then the third part... Okay, so we've had the 1, 2, and now we have the 3, okay? So psychopathy is characterized by selfishness, recklessness, and display antisocial behaviors. They don't respond well to punishment, and because of that, they are likely to harm others for their own gain, even in high-risk situations. Those high in psychopathy have a hostile attitude toward coworkers and are characterized by greed. Okay?
Bro, Anthony's a psychopath.
No.
Yes.
So Anthony can turn his feelings off.
Yes.
Okay?
But he also does this selfishness, recklessness, and display of antisocial behaviors.
Right. So there are 2 different types of psychopathy. Okay? Just like there are multiple types of bipolar.
Right.
Okay?
You have that too.
Okay, so psychopathy is often considered to be the darkest trait of the 3 of the Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy, because it's unique in its coldness. Okay,
What do you mean by coldness?
they don't feel, they don't care.
So just straight
Yeah, that's why.
That's
That's why when people are like, "Oh yeah, he just went psycho," and it's because they don't care. They don't care about consequences. They don't care about feelings. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about any of that. They just don't care. You know how sometimes you look at people and there's nothing in there, and it's real scary. Yeah. Okay, and that's kind of what that means. It means that there's nothing in there.
Do you watch anime at all?
No.
Do you want what?
Watch anime.
I was gonna say anime displays a lot of scenarios that focus on emotions, which is why I like it. But
You don't even like emotions.
He does, and he has a lot of them, and that's why he studies them so much.
Right, but he don't give a fuck about anybody else's feelings.
That's because he has learned to turn it off.
your
No.
emotions are not my issue.
And honestly, that's the healthy way to do it. The only time that emotions matter for Anthony is like when he's in a discussion with Michaela,
Right.
right? Because that's when emotions matter. Emotions matter in those relationships, right?
Right.
Thanks.
So if he was a psychopath, he wouldn't have those.
I wouldn't
At
be
all.
in a relationship. Michaela wouldn't be with me.
Michaela would fuck him up.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day.
Okay, so the dual process model, because of course we have to do definitions in every study. The dual process model distinguishes between two forms of psychopathy. So maybe this will answer your question a little bit more.
Okay.
So primary emotional stable psychopathy and secondary reactive psychopathy. Okay, those are the two types. So primary are characterized by their manipulativeness, glibness, egocentricity, callousness, and a general lack of empath and guilt. Okay, so okay. Secondary display impulsive behavior, a need for stimulation, a parasitic lifestyle, and antisocial felonious tendencies. Those with high scores in both secondary and primary often end up incarcerated, where one scoring high in only primary fare relatively well in society. Okay? So if you have just primary psychopathy, you can still function in society.
Okay.
Okay? Whereas if you score high in primary and secondary, then that's where they tend to fall into the criminal justice system. Okay? Any questions? You good? We following?
Yep.
Okay. So employees scoring high in primary psychopathology often obtain relatively high-ranking positions in organizations. Okay?
Can you reread that? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So employees scoring high in primary psychopathy, often obtain relatively high-ranking positions in organizations.
Like CEOs?
Yes. And so that goes back to the discussion that we had at Hibachi
Ugh.
about those high-ranking positions.
Yeah.
About those high-ranking positions and how they get there because they don't care, right?
Right.
They don't care about, you got a family life, you got kids, you got all of these things. Like, they reach those high positions because they don't care,
Right.
right? That's not what their main focus is. Their main focus
Is
is
running this business.
running the company, right? Okay, so we need these numbers, we need this numbers. Who do we gotta run over to get to these
Yeah, who do
numbers?
we gotta step over?
Right? That totally makes me think of Selena. I'd like to thank for all my fans that I just step on to get here. Right? So it is
Bow down. I'm gliding here.
it has been argued that the so-called successful psychopath or the corporate psychopath owes his or her success to the employment of effective communication style, strategic thinking, impression management skills, and charisma. Okay? So that's how they get to those positions, and that's how they make it and stay there.
What's the meaning of charisma?
Charisma is like how you can get people to like you. You know how those people get into a room and you just watch them and you're just like, man, like they can have a conversation with every single one of these people in here and jump from, crowd to crowd, and they're laughing and they're chilling and they're super excited. Everybody wants to know them. Everybody wants to be friends with them. It's because they have that charisma. It's those social skills.
You know when people are like, yeah, that's a very welcoming person?
Yeah.
Because they're very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, charismatic is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
that's all the
just
same
didn't
thing.
know the switch.
Yeah. Okay. So.
We should get you like a full captain, Jake.
Yeah, you need one of so
Word of the day.
in the old days.
I don't have time for that.
In the
It's a word of the day. It's one fucking word.
So in the old days, like, I don't know, I think it was like the 90s, I totally wanted one. They had, it was a little, it was an electronic dictionary and thesaurus. And it
Oh my God, I
was,
love thesauruses.
it was a little bit smaller than this. So like, you know, the older phones, it was about that. And it flipped up, right? And you could put in whatever word you wanted, and you could hit definition, and it would give you the definition on a little screen like a calculator. So that was like back in the old days when things were really cool.
That's dope.
So damaging traits. Okay, so those were the good traits that psychopaths have, right?
Okay.
So the damaging traits are that they seem to have lower objective performance levels and are more likely to engage in risky and or unethical decision making. Okay, so that goes to the who did I have to step on to get here, right? So Uncle Max, you know what? He's on his deathbed anyway, so is there any way we can speed that up? Because we need his shares of the company.
Do you remember that joke that's going around that's like, that was, I'm not saying I hate you, but I'd unplug your life support to plug in my vape.
To plug in my cell phone? I have seen that one. Okay, so psychopathy has been positively related to counterproductive work behavior, white-collar crime, corporate misbehavior, bullying, and abusive supervision. That all makes sense once you look at, like, the downfalls of psychopathology.
You read that really fast. I'm sorry.
No.
Wow.
So, it's positively related, which means it makes sense. So they go hand in hand.
Okay.
Okay. To counterproductive work behavior.
Okay.
So counterproductive, not productive.
Yeah.
Okay. White collar crime.
I don't know what that is, but
White collar crime is like writing bad checks.
Oh.
Tax evasion.
Fraud.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Corporate misbehavior.
Okay.
Bullying, and abusive supervision.
Abusive supervision.
I don't care that you have to go pick up your kids at noon. You need to be here until 3.
Oh.
You're sick? I don't care. I need to see your ass here tomorrow or you won't have a job.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's the abusive supervision.
Okay.
Okay? So,
You touch me and your legs are real cold.
My bad.
so what do you guys think of that so far? Are you guys understanding the dark triad and what those traits are?
Yeah.
And how they go into the corporate world?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So people with low self-esteem. Okay, so these two things go hand in hand, okay, with power. Okay, and this will all... So I know this is a whole lot of notes to start off the discussion, but it totally goes hand in hand, and then we'll have an in-depth discussion afterwards, okay? So people with low self-esteem are often attracted to others because they believe, or to others they believe can provide for them direction, the possibility to be more desirable or a better person.
Shouldn't that be provide direction for them?
Yeah. Well, I just wrote down the wording from the study.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
The possibility to be more desirable or a better person, an increased sense of self-worth and or a sense of belonging, which makes sense, right? Yeah, literally, okay? So their desire to gain acceptance and approval from their leader also explains their motivation to be compliant and their susceptibility to exploitation because they are less likely to object to exploitation out of fear of rejection or disapproval.
Yes, men.
Okay, exactly. That's exactly what they are. Okay, so prior research on abusive behavior in workplace victimization points to low self-esteem.
Stop tapping.
Okay, so prior research on abusive behavior and workplace victimization points to low self-esteem, dependent social isolation, and social incompetence as characteristics of potential victims. Okay? So that where I kind of wanted to talk about like the sexual assault is, unfortunately, if you have been sexually assaulted once in your lifetime,
It's gonna happen again.
it's going to happen again. Like the likelihood of that behavior being repeated
It's very, very
is
high.
super, super high. I worked, my first job was working at Department of Family Services in Cheyenne as a family assistance worker. And my boss told me this crazy story. She said, you can get a room full of women into a room, okay? And you can put one woman who has experienced domestic violence into that room. And then you get a domestic abuser into that room, and they will always find each other.
Yep.
Always find each other. And it's because of the things that they look for.
It's the attraction. They're magnets.
Yeah. And it's because of their behaviors of the assault, right? Of the consistent assaults. And so that's kind of what this is saying, is that that abusive behavior and workplace victimization, if you marry that with low self-esteem, then that puts you at greater risk of having, like, falling under prey for the psychopathic behaviors. Okay? So those with low self-esteem are more likely to report problems related to being self-sacrificing and overly accommodating, right? So they go above and beyond.
Yes.
Those with low self-esteem react to ego threats with behavior that is more friendly, cautious, and restrained, arguably because they are more focused on belongingness, needs, and thus are focused on establishing a relationship with others, whether they respect them or not. So a person cannot even like their boss, but they're still going to go above and beyond because they want that approval. They need that approval. Okay? So leader psychopathy positively predicts perceived leader self-serving behavior. Okay? Only when followers had low self-esteem, we found that leader psychopathy and leader self-serving behavior were positively related. Destructive organizational outcome are not exclusively the result of destructive leaders, but are also products of susceptible followers. Okay?
So if they have low self-esteem, then they have positive.
No.
What?
No. Other way around. So this, and so that was all the notes from the article. So what this article was talking about is they did this test. And they gave these people this quiz to figure out, like, what scores they were on the level of psychopathology, right? And then they created this fake scenario to make them believe that they were supervising people with low self-esteem. Such as saying, like, okay, so this employee doesn't feel great about themselves, they've missed work multiple days, whatever, okay? Those that scored high on that level of psychopathology, okay, so the actual thing was they had to determine whether they were going to split the bonus between them and their employees, or they were going to keep the bonus, okay? Those that scored high on levels of psychopathology, so high scores of psychopathic behaviors, most often tended to keep the bonuses as a way to manipulate their employees.
Jesus.
Okay? Those that are dealing with people of high self-esteem, they're kind of put in check by that. Because those people with high self-esteem, they're going to come in and be like, hey, like, what the, first of all, don't talk to me like that.
Right.
I have things that I have to take care of outside of work. You can't tell me that I can't go home. I will come back and I'll work extra hours or I'll come in early or whatever, but I need to leave, like, right now.
Yeah.
Right? So only people with high self-esteem are able to voice and stand up for themselves like that, right? Whereas people with low self-esteem are like, I mean, like he said, I can't go, so I'm just going to sit in my office and make a couple phone calls and see if somebody else can pick up my kid. Right? So there's different behaviors between high and low self-esteem employees. So when you have a leader who has psychopathic tendencies or high levels of psychopathology, they will rein in their behaviors based on who they're supervising.
Right.
Okay? So if you have low self-esteem employees, a psychopathic manager is going to take that shit and run. right? They're going to get whatever they want out of you. They're going to do whatever they want. They're going to, like, do all the things, okay? If you have people with high self-esteem in there as your employees, they're going to put you in check. Hey, we can't do that because that's illegal.
Right.
I'm not staying past 5 because unless you're paying me for overtime, I'm not working off the clock. People with high self-esteem rein in those people with high psychopathic levels.
And you get more respect with that too. With
As an employee or as a supervisor?
as both.
Okay. Explain that a little bit. Because I see that as an employee, but I don't see that as a supervisor.
Because as an employee, if I see that you have that self-respect and boundaries, then I know that I'm not going to be able to manipulate you to get whatever I want out of you, which makes me respect you. Because that means that you're standing your ground. You're not letting me walk all over you.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so that's the employee side. I see that.
No,
Okay.
that's the supervisor side.
No, so
Because I can't do that to the supervisor. But if as a supervisor and I see that it goes both ways. Like if I see that my employee has that boundaries and sets those boundaries and respects himself enough to hold those boundaries, then I'm going to respect you.
That's not always how it goes, though. Because those psychopathic tendencies, they don't care.
Well, and
like,
they
you
will
can show
go,
those, and they still won't care. Like, all right, well, good for you. Do your fucking job.
and they'll manipulate that, right, to see how far they can push you.
Like, oh, so you're a powerful worker. Good for you. So let's manipulate you in a way to where you do even more, thinking it's your idea, thinking you're gaining power from this. But in reality, you're still benefiting me.
Right.
Yeah. So you, like, did this whole thing. You were frantically writing notes. What you got going on? Let's hear it.
So, that domino effect that I was talking about earlier before.
Yeah.
So, when weak-willed men are produced, it creates powerful leaders. And powerful leaders have control over those weak-willed men. And that's a whole cycle within itself.
Yeah.
But the reason why the powerful leaders are able to benefit more because they're able to break that cycle and go out of it while still maintaining the other benefits of control over the weak-willed. And the reason they have that is because they usually have more motivation and more willpower, and at most times higher IQ. But unless the employee is usually, and this is the manipulation technique, is playing the victim in order to get more power over upset person.
Right.
But yeah.
And this study actually did talk about people with higher, I'm trying to remember, I think I'm mixing up my studies, but I think it did mention that they did have higher IQs.
Psychopaths?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if you take all the emotions out of everything and put it into learning, I mean, so smart. So they were talking about...
That's me smarter than shit.
Like, yeah. So they were talking about, like, Ted Bundy. So Ted Bundy is, like, high primary, high secondary psychopathic tendencies, right? So that was how he got busted. And I know there's, like, that show, and he got busted a few times.
What show? With, Zac Efron?
Yeah, the one with Zac Efron, and then the one after it. I watched the one with Zac Efron, but I didn't watch the other one.
I think it's literally called Bundy.
Okay. Like, he got busted.
Yeah, a few times.
And eluded them every single time.
Yeah.
And bragged about it. You know, and that's kind of where it's part of that dark triad,
Cycle.
you know? Yeah. Yeah. So... putting all of this in your thoughts back to the quote, okay, which was, power always changes the bearer of it, and those who are closest to her, though people who believe it always corrupts think too simplistically. Okay, so the other thing also,
What's going on?
I totally forgot to mention that this article also talked about how, where you were saying that they manipulate people into also being kind of their minions, right? So like if something goes on, and I think of I can't remember what Medea movie it was, where they had the accountant do all the things, and then he was the one that took the fall for it. They came after him.
Yes.
For all of it, right? And they're like, well, we didn't do it. Like, it was all him. So that's kind of what they do, too, is they bring people in to kind of be their minions. And the only way they can do that is if you have low self-esteem yourself.
Right.
Okay? So if you have low self-esteem, you're either going to be in cahoots with them, or you're going to do whatever they tell you to do.
Right.
Okay? So I think that's what this quote also says, because it says, power always changes the bearer of it, right? So the supervisors, and those who are closest to her, though people who believe it always corrupts, think too simplistically. Because not only will they have their minions, but power is only powerful. There's a good and bad. I'm trying to figure out like what I'm trying to say. There's a good and bad to power. Okay? It can make you a better person, or it can make you a really bad person. We kind of had this conversation a couple episodes ago about a manager who was a great person,
but a shitty manager.
Right? So being put in those positions of power either amplify what you have going on or take away like what you have going on. Okay? I just saw a TikTok, I think yesterday, and they were talking about the millennial supervisors.
I saw that one.
And how they're like, oh yeah, I know, we gotta have this stupid meeting, and you know, like it just takes a second, and I'm so sorry. Oh, your mother's sick? Oh my gosh, like, you know, you just let me know. Oh, you gotta take a trip to Greece? Okay, you know what? And oh, you ain't even gotta worry about having time off. And HR told you had to do. Don't even worry about it, because it's gotta go through me anyway. So, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Don't stress it. As long as you're working, we'll just keep it on the low. It's totally fine. Those are the millennial supervisors, and I have a millennial supervisor right now. He's amazing. Like, I would do anything for him, right? But then you get, like, those, like, the boomer supervisors.
They're mean. And
they are, like, all about do as I say, don't question me, and these are the rules, and you don't go outside the rules, and there's no, like, you don't have a life outside of work kind of thing, and that's where most of that power has come and has been played bad on. Because, I mean, look at the world of politics right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much corruption. That's what I was looking for. It's corrupted. And it's because they get into that mentality of, well, who's going to stop me kind of thing. What you got? You were just studiously the little student there.
I'm just thinking of, like,
well, yeah, what you got? Share your thoughts. That's what this is for.
There's a book called 48 Laws of Power. And it's a really good book. Hold on, let me... So I've only read, like, the first 7. But, like, Law 2 says, never put too much trust in friends and learn how to use enemies. And then under this, I have friends can betray quicker than enemies. Friends are more dangerous than enemies.
True.
Never lose self-worth to keep a friend. Never put too much trust in friends. When you make enemies with a friend, you discover hidden traits and habits hidden away. The more willpower used to save a friendship, the more of oneself fades away due to lack of self-worth and self-respect. And then there's another one.
That reminds me of, like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
And enemies can benefit a lot more than friends. Like, friends are nice and all, but enemies are the ones that actually help you grow.
Yeah.
That's why people like rivals.
Yeah. Oh, well, in researching for this YouTube channel, there was actually a chapter that said use your haters.
Yes.
You know, because your haters are the ones out there talking about you. Like
They're
are
getting your name out there.
literally free advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But will your friends share it?
Right.
Will your friends share your episodes? Will they put your name out there?
Right. It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. You know, your haters are going to get your name out there more than your friends will.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. It's crazy.
So going back to like the Minions, and it just made me think. There's this. I don't know if it's a movie or if it's just a TikTok sound, but her name's Chanel, and she was like, and like the girls are like, I'm Chanel number 2. I'm Chanel number 5, and then like the big Chanel is like, I'm Chanel number 1, Avi. And these are my minions. I don't know their names, and I don't need to know their names. And like, it kind of just makes me think like, okay, so she's using these people to get where she wants to. She's stepping on these girls to get to that higher popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then I automatically go to Gru. Like,
Who has
Despicable
the
Me.
actual minions?
Despicable Me. Right? But he's using these minions to help him get to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so he's using them, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? He's actually letting them help him.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being like, well, I'm going to make you do this, and you do this, and fuck you, Dave. You know what I mean?
Man, Dave's always getting messed up.
That's why. Or like the elves in Rise of the Guardians.
Aw, man!
Right? So we see all these power things all the time. In movies, shows, anime, books.
It's a matter of learning how to use it.
Yeah.
That's where people struggle.
Right. Going back to your friends thing, I realized I thought my coworkers were my friends. And I realized recently that they are not.
Yeah.
And I was heartbroken because I was like, dude, like I am so giving to all of my friends in my circle that I thought
We're my circle.
that they were going to be there when I needed them, and they were not. You know, and I was upset one day, and I was sitting here in the living room, and Justin comes home, and he's like, they're not your friends. They are coworkers, and that is it.
Rivals.
So outside of that,
It's
like, they're not your friends.
Everything is a competition.
And that's super sad because we didn't start out that way.
Right.
You know, civilization did
It was
not
a
start
growth.
out that way. You know?
But then everybody's separated.
You know, yeah, like, I mean, if you look at cultures like the Native Americans and,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the
Discrimination.
Asians and, you know, the Hispanics, you know, like, they live in multi-generational homes, you know, like,
Wow.
they have 2, sometimes 3 generations living with them, you know? How many times did Uncle Jethro come live with Mom? You know, like, so, I mean, there was just so many, there's so many things, and the Asians all live together.
Or like
and,
Snuggles and Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you
that
know?
whole family was under
Right.
one house. And I was like, damn, there's like 18 of you in here.
Yeah.
Y'all good?
You know, and then they were taking in other kids, you know.
Yeah.
That's when they, you know, brought Jeremy in, and I can't remember her name. So, I mean, it's just the thing, like,
We're all like this,
right,
but now with the new society, it's all this.
right.
Keep you in arms.
It just it pushes you away. I mean, it's because of that power, right? Because the head of the household, whoever that may be, you know, is like, oh, well, I can do, well, now you have to do this and you have to do this. And that's what breaks those bonds,
You're radiating coldness.
you know? So what do you, because you have a different view on family.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like, so, I don't know.
What
I
is your
see
view on family?
both advocates, just because I could understand wanting to bring people in and help and, you know, be understanding and, you know, all this. And plus it gives you some leadway of having someone in your debt. It could be used really well if you play your cards right. But when you keep someone or people at an arm's length, keeping them, away, that also gives you more power over every situation. You know what I mean? So there's multiple variables that go into all of that. But yeah.
Right. So, but that sounds like you're manipulating people.
Yes.
Do you think there is more power with more people? Do you think you are stronger by yourself, or do you think you're stronger with Michaela?
Well, history is showing that I'm stronger with Michaela.
Yep.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Right.
But like I said,
So is it just finding those real ride-or-die people?
starting bonds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how you don't see family. You see the bonds. Mm-hmm. Can you explain that?
I do not believe in blood. I believe in memories and trust that create that bond in order to then strengthen that trust given between two people. And then that's that trust, and then those memories, that's what end up bringing those people together in order to then make more. And then that's when, all right, I will consider you family.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, me and Anthony, like, our relationship varies.
Yeah. You guys ebb and flow depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could be super tight one day. Be like, yo, bro. Pink. And the next day, I'm like, I fucking hate him. Like,
That's usually because you're fucking up.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, you're gonna knock that down.
Nope, you did. Again.
Broken tack again. So and it makes me kind of wonder, like, I guess I don't understand your view of, like, no, I get it, but, like,
You don't agree with it.
no, that's no, I do agree with that, because we have kind of the same backgrounds, I guess, with our dads.
Right.
So, like,
that is pretty similar, but everything else was different between you two.
Right.
Because you guys were raised very differently.
Right. But, like, with our dads...
Because he saw everything, and because of that, you were very sheltered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy.
Yeah. It's
Damn snowflake.
But then you guys make fun of me for being sheltered, but it's your guys' fault.
Yep.
Yep.
Not now.
Because we know the lessons,
you're
that's
fucking
why.
up.
So, like, and so I get, like, having that trust and that bond with them in order to consider them family. I understand that. But with, like, how relationships can vary, do you consider those people as family, or do you consider them as acquaintances?
I think it depends on what the betrayal was to start off with. There's different levels of betrayal that will allow those bonds to still stay. Arguments happen. Married people fight all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Justin and I have had, 2 arguments in the last, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't fight because we know how to agree to disagree, one, and we know the fighting rules.
Mm-hmm.
Comes to maturity.
Right.
It's really what it comes down to.
So you can have fights and still be okay.
Mm.
We have had fights and we're still okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's those additional things that go above and beyond that you still want to try sometimes. And we're like, the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we struggle with you in those situations, because you want so hard to have those bonds with all of these people when they should just be gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know why that is with you, because I think we've all done it at some point in our lives.
But I don't know how to give that out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we got done hurting. We
Yeah.
we just got tired of hurting.
Yeah.
And so, but we have the dog is flying down that driveway, man. He was like Zoe, just legit flying down that hill. So sorry. We have a high enough self-esteem. Once again, going back to the study, we have a high enough self-esteem now that we can look and be like, you know what? I didn't deserve that.
Right.
You didn't have to come at me like that or do that or betray me like that or whatever. And so that's a hard no. That's a hard no for me.
We also have enough self-worth to be like, yeah, I don't really need you in my life.
Yeah.
Whereas you look for acceptance in others.
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
Yeah.
That is your downfall.
And that's so once again, like we had talked about in dude, I'm telling you, like we had talked about with Miss Jen, your gifts can sometimes be your downfall. Because you care so much about people, and we do too. We would do anything for anybody. Well,
that's why I looked at that.
Tell me he wouldn't give the world for Michaela.
Yeah.
And tell me he wouldn't do anything for me. Even tell me I'm retired sometimes. But like,
you do the same thing.
I do, but it's all out of love. It's all out of love. You know what I mean? And so we would do anything for anybody that is in our circle that we think is deserving of it. Right?
Right, and I just do anything for anybody.
Heavily on the think as deserving.
Right. And so that's where you are still learning your lessons, and I realize it's because you're young, but I also realize that it's because you need to do some self-work to get that self-esteem and self-worth and really have that power inside you to know that you would still be okay.
Right.
So you would fall prey to these psychopathic behaviors, and you do.
And I do.
And you do. Which is why we are always coming in the mix because we know how to handle those.
Right. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's so sweet.
You see that bucket all the time, and I'm just like, okay. And then come a couple weeks later, you're like, oh, I'm not with us. Really? Really? That's crazy.
You're a fucking dick.
I feel so bad for you. Never
like,
saw that.
every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, that's a shocker. Didn't see that coming. And I'm like, we all fucking saw it coming.
Whoops.
Yeah. And so that's because we, one, not only have experienced that other side, but two, we have learned enough in our studies and research that we have done to know what these things look like. Anthony said in the beginning of the episode that it's not his responsibility for anybody else's feelings. And as harsh as that sounds,
It's true.
It's absolutely true, and that's the healthy way to do it. Yeah. And it's crazy that your generation doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Generation, bro.
It always comes back to a generation thing.
Well, and me and Anthony are part of the same generation.
Yes.
But we were raised in different types of society, even with us being only 18 months apart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, can you guys explain that a little bit? Because I get what you guys are saying, but I don't think the viewers understand what that means. That you guys were raised differently. So can you guys talk a little bit about how you guys were raised differently and what that means to you?
How to put it? I got the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony was he had to be the head of household at 2?
Yeah, he was very parentified.
Yes. Because you were mentally very ill. You were I said that right. And so he was
Yeah.
So he was taking care of me. And so he
Yo, that's my tag.
you're not gonna put it in the table.
That's my tag.
So he got to see a lot, and I'm sure a lot of that caused trauma, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Well, and he also saw a lot from his dad's side.
Right.
Right? Why are we talking for you? Bruh.
That's you guys.
But I was, again, very sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see shit. I didn't know anything.
Right. So Anthony's was part of the drug world
Yes.
for a time frame.
Yes.
The drug and the criminal world. And because of the things that he saw in the drug and criminal world that I had him around at that point in time, I was like, nope, it's going to be different for her.
Right. How was my train of thought?
So you were very sheltered.
Yes. So I didn't see anything.
You didn't know anything.
and I always like knew something was going on.
Because I'd send you to your room.
Yep. Or I'd go to a friend's, or I'd go to a family friend's, or I'd always leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I always, and I knew, like, feeling wise, I knew something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
like, you didn't know I'd gone to jail for like
yeah. No idea.
months, right? It was like months later.
Dude, I didn't know for years.
It wasn't a year? Oh man, yeah.
Because it was like 2 years later, and
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that one day you went to jail. And she was like, what?
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, you ran a friend's house. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
like
So I
lots
didn't.
of cops. I was like, where am I going?
Hold on, Cassie, I'll be right here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know anything.
Right.
And if I did know something, then
Dude,
it was. If I did know something, then it was very vague.
Right. Right. Something happened that you didn't know, like what was going on.
Yeah. So there's cops here, but I need you to go to the room.
Right.
Why the fuck are the cops here?
Right. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'll
Yeah.
tell you later.
Yeah.
I never got told.
Nope.
So that's how we were raised very differently.
And normally Anthony's like front and center.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. But we definitely have our own traumas.
Yes.
Whether that be from the drug world, whether that be from drug use, alcohol use, substance abuse, whatever, parent
Mm-hmm.
side, or even self side, like caused by self. I guess that'd be how it's said. And we do have a lot of the same traumas.
You guys handle them very differently.
though. But even if we were raised differently, it still led us not to the same place, but like to the same place. You know what I mean?
What?
No.
No.
No, not like, okay.
Let me put it in a very simple term. When I was your age.
Also, bro, how are you gonna text us and be like, we can't go to the cutting court because mama can't go? You can't go either, dumbass.
The kegging court? I didn't go.
I know. But you text me, you're like, we can't go to the kegging court because mama can't go.
Right. Right. Mean to say, like, only she couldn't go, but you could go.
Oh,
That's what.
don't know. To be fair, I look like I could get in there.
Yeah, he strolls up in the bar all the time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, why are you in here? He's like, I'm coming to pick you up.
Yeah, I've literally done it before.
What?
The manager just let me in. I was like, oh, I just need to pick up my mom. He's like, all right, go on to.
Same.
Legit. Yeah, legit. Okay, so so that the power in the low self-esteem, do you feel like the article was right and that it puts you in some detrimental situations?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you been in a situation where there was a power play?
I don't know. A lot of my situations were I put myself into that position.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if I really fall under like the whole. I don't know how to explain it. There were just a lot of wrong decisions based off of the amount of power I had. So, because of the power that I had in of said situation, I went wrong. I went into the wrong direction because of it, thinking that nothing bad could happen from it.
Yeah. Okay, so you were in the position of power.
Yeah.
So it obviously didn't turn out right from what it sounds like, or the way you wanted it to. Were there consequences to that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From a lot of situations.
So is there a lesson in that you can share once you have power?
Let's see.
Have you guys ever noticed that the inside of a grape is really mushy?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they use it as eyeballs for Halloween stuff.
Mm-hmm. You peel them.
That's what I was just doing. I was peeling the insides. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say stay humble. Staying humble and learning to control your own emotions, I would say, would give you not only the intelligence but the power to control that, which then results in smarter decisions and having more power in the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that being humble and staying grounded, you know, having that circle that can call you out, really, and be like, dude, the fuck are you doing? You know, like, this is not you.
Which,
you know?
a lot of people can't take that, I've come to learn.
Yeah.
The amount of people I've tried to be like, dude, you're fucking up. And then I ain't fucking up.
And then it starts an argument.
You're like, you
yeah.
can go by yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I think that goes to this new society not being able to form those relationships in order to have those kind of conversations. You know what I mean?
When you say new society, do you mean like just everyone, like built it into the society, or do you mean...
because like with the technology, you know, nobody knows how to have relationships anymore. You know, everybody's looking for the next best thing, or, you know, getting that, you know, I don't feel good about myself. I'm going to post myself and, you know, see all the likes I can get, and
like
you know, that, like, those, that
I do that.
But it's fake.
Yeah.
Right? It's not real. It's not sincere.
No.
And so the people, like, live off of that, and so they're not having these hard conversations that we have, you know, and that we're having for, you know, the viewers. So it's a thing, because
We have to do this on our own, though, not just for the viewers.
Right, yeah. But that's why we can have these hard conversations. That's why we're so tight. You know, it's because we can sit down and have these hard conversations.
A lot of people have them around me, I've noticed. Like, a lot of people I talk to. But that's just because I've come to learn I don't like sticking around if it's non-intellectual conversations.
Right.
Like, a lot of the time,
Right.
if it's just stupid, I'm gonna just go do something else.
I have had people call me years after I haven't talked to them, and they're like, hey, I need you to help me with this situation. And I'm like, whoa, like, I haven't talked to you. And I'm like, what? Why? Like, why would you call me? And I have literally been told, because I talked to you because you are reality check Lana.
Just coughed all over you. I'm so
You're
sorry.
fucking disgusting.
You know, you are reality check Lana. I know that no matter what I'm doing, you care about me enough to tell me whether or not I'm fucking up. And I'm like, dude, I hate being reality check Lana.
Me too.
I don't like her.
I love it. At the same time, I'm belittling people.
Don't get me wrong. There are some times where I'm like, oh yeah, I've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but there's like satisfaction in breaking down someone's ego and then having them just shattered, so then you could mend them.
Right.
And like
Right.
But at the same time, that's just because I like having that power over of said person.
Right.
To be like, all right, look, this is what the fuck you need to do. Stop being a fucking idiot.
But is that a form of manipulation?
Yes.
Yes and no. Well, and especially if they come to you, it's not a form of manipulation, because they are genuinely looking for answers. And it's hard in today's society to find those answers.
Right.
The internet has so much shit that contradicts itself. You don't know what's up from down.
Facts.
Nobody knows how to listen to themselves anymore, so nobody can rely on their intuition. So that's why I believe that people rely a lot on faith, because it's a way to get those answers. But it's because they've shut off their intuition. They don't have, a trusted circle. They don't
usually
have.
What I group those people in.
And so it's just we all have a very different view of religion than others. But yeah, and it's just the power thing. So even if you look at that situation, they put their power in whatever religious book that they're following. People from different religions put power in themselves. So it's just a change as to which way the power is going to go and how it influences you.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? You guys agree with this quote or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta look at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think she's right in saying that think too simplistically?
Yeah, I don't know. I think anyone who thinks too simplistically is
You need to go in depth a little
useless,
bit more.
to say the least.
Because it's just a superficial thing,
They're scared.
It's not just the person,
Yeah.
And I think it's real naive to say, power corrupts everybody.
No, that's not always true.
Because that's not.
I certainly do think people can make mistakes due to power, but that
Right.
doesn't mean they're just corrupt from the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I think of that movie that we were watching on, New Year's Eve, on Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, yeah.
Where the sister was like amazingly rich.
Oh, yeah, her.
But she was super nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then her husband cheats on her.
Granny.
That didn't have anything. Right. Yeah. Granny is super powerful. So is Nana. Those are the super powerful people that we have in our lives. And they would literally do anything for anybody. So it's not an automatic, if you have power, you're corrupted. That's not what it is. No.
I feel like you can choose if you're going to be corrupted or not.
Absolutely.
If you're going to go into the dark side.
Well, and I think Anthony has a really good point in that you have to stay grounded. Whichever way that may be. Whatever helps you be grounded, whether that's nature, conversations with family, or whatever, a group of friends, you have to stay grounded for those things. Because I think the temptation is great, especially if you've got, those psychopathic people in your circle.
I was literally getting ready to pop in my mouth.
He said. Alrighty, I think that wraps it up.
That's gonna be a nice edit.
I'm gonna have to find it. Fucking track it somehow.
Alrighty, we want to thank Justin Bragg for being a sponsor today. He does so much.
The episode so you can put the picture in.
It's stupid.
He does so much for us and allowing these episodes to happen. I want to thank you for joining us. Oh my gosh, guys! Thank you for joining us. Join us for the next episode where we talk about life reveals. Oh my god, brother sister stuff. So we're gonna.
Itching my nose.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about life reveals.
With who?
I don't think we have a scheduled
It's just
speaker.
us?
It's just us. Yep. So we're gonna be talking about life reveals.
Fuck you.
And what that means.
Anthony.
You broke my pen.
Sorry.
He said, oh shit.
Alright, any questions, comments, concerns, email or message on YouTube or any of our other social medias?
We got upstairs.
Wow.
Is that English?
Say that one more time. Take two.
We got Instagram up and going.
Yes, we did get Instagram up and going.
I am slacking on posts today, but I will get there.
Yes, so you should start seeing some posts on Instagram. Facebook is definitely our main source still. We are also working on TikTok. So we have also figured out how we're going to do our new studio. So it will be in a totally different room, and we're super excited for it. It is going to take a little bit to put together.
We're going to make a video of the time lapse of it.
Yeah, so there will be a time lapse video of the remodel that we do. Yep, of the room itself. So keep on the lookout for that. We have our email, smilegirldon'tbenervous@gmail.com, and all of our social medias are found at smilegirldon'tbenervous. So come see us, and until next time, we thank you for coming. All right, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.